Welcome to another video of Momentum 3.0. Here we are with Tom from Crypto Busy. He is recording from London, so he may be with Momentum 3.0 and Momentum Platinum in Malaga, next Malaga blockchain. We hope he is with us. So let's start with the presentation. How are you doing today, Tom?
Adrian, thank you very much for the introduction. Doing good, it's doing all right. It's going well, and the weather over here is all right. So, there's nothing to complain about. But the market itself, there's a lot to complain about the crypto market at the moment. I'm sure you can agree on that one there.
Yeah, it's better when you have nice weather. For example, here in Malaga, we have the same market, but different weather. So we deal with that
for sure
a little bit better. What is your opinion about the current market situation? Do you think that we are approaching to a bear market or crypto winter, or it was the maximum pain, the bottom of the cycle? What do you think?
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of things at play here at the moment. I mean, right now you've got the sort of the macro perspective of what's happening in the world, and that's affecting just not only the crypto markets, but the stock markets. So I do think we are in need of a period of a bear market, and I do think we are in the direction of that, if not within the bear market at the moment. Bitcoin rage trading between 28,000 earlier to 30,000 for a few days now, and it's still stuck within that range of 28 to 30. So the longer that continues of that sideways momentum, the bigger the push either way. So it could be sort of a big push upwards or downwards. And in my opinion, the way that the market is at the moment, coupled with the fear, is that we could be seeing a dip potentially for Bitcoin below $25,000 in the immediate short term. And I do think also with the way that cycles tend to go, even though we're sort of in early days of crypto, I do think we've seen that pump of last year, and now I think we are sort of in a period of a bear market time. But I think in a way that's also good news, because it does sort of weed out all of the bad stuff that's happened in the markets. I mean, especially what's happened with Terra Luna. I think that's been sort of the big momentum, I guess you could say. It's the big event that has struck what's happened for the bear market going forward. You had BitConnect back in 2017. And then also the ICO boom back in 2017. And I think this event is also right now. And also the same with like Mt. Gox back in like 2013, 2014. That was sort of the event that triggered the bear market back then. We could be seeing that for now. So short term, not looking so good, but I think long term, very, very good, in my opinion.
What do you think about the Bitcoin dominance? Because I am searching for opportunities as potentially everyone in crypto right now. What do you think about the dominance? Which levels may be reached? Should we see 70% or 60%? What do you think about the Bitcoin dominance? A non-correlated indicator.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Bitcoin dominance a lot, actually. I think it's a very useful metric to gauge where the market is really going, the sentiment of the markets. I mean, the overall sentiment right now is fear, but where is the trust in crypto? And I think right now, people are trying to build up the trust in the king, the father of all crypto, which is Bitcoin. And so I think once we get that trust back into Bitcoin, so seeing Bitcoin dominance above 50%, so the majority of the capital going into Bitcoin, I think that's when you see more of the trust going back into the rest of the markets. And I think the altcoins from that will suffer, but only in the short term. And I think once that happens, then we could be seeing Bitcoin go up to those all-time highs again. But I think for the immediate short term right now, I think it's around sort of 45, 44 at the moment. But I do think it could go up to 60. Maybe not so much as 70, because right now, we've seen over the previous cycles, so many altcoins and projects do really well and display their dominance, such as Ethereum. That Ethereum's dominance at the beginning of this cycle was around sort of, less than 10%. And that's doubled to 20%, which is absolutely insane for Ethereum. That's really good for the altcoins going forward. So I do think we're sort of in a weird inflection point of this whole market, where it's not only just Bitcoin, it's also the altcoins as well. And I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist myself. When you can look at Bitcoin compared to the altcoins or some of the altcoins, it's like comparing a Ford Model T with a Ford Mustang. I'd rather go for the Mustang, the 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, than sort of the 0 to 60 in 20 or 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So there's so many other opportunities out there, in my opinion. That's really where the altcoins can flourish, but in the longer term.
And let me ask you a different question, which is the volatility index. Do you follow the volatility index?
Okay, so personally, I don't follow the volatility index, but I'm assuming right now it's probably pinging all the signs that it's very volatile at the moment. I don't know what's the sort of volatility index right now. Is it a lot?
I opened a trade on the volatility index because it reverses to the mean, and it's like you have a support, and it tends to bounce from there. And it's close to the take profit. It's really, really close to the take profit.
Okay, I'll take a look into that. The volatility index. Okay.
In DeFi, in CVI, there is no liquidity for a hedge fund, for example. But it's funny because it's so predictable, and it tends to follow the same pattern that we've seen huge volatility and huge expectation of volatility. So that is something that may be interesting for non-correlated assets. So let's go into XRP, because we both follow XRP, and I want to know your opinion first from a fundamental perspective, and then from a trend or technical perspective.
For sure. Yeah, I mean XRP, it's a really interesting one because it does split opinion, and I think, well, actually, maybe not as much as it once did. I mean, back in 2017, 2018, XRP was very divisive. But I think now you're seeing a lot of traditional Bitcoin or crypto people looking into what XRP can do for them, maybe from a trade perspective, but also from a fundamental perspective. I mean, right now, the fundamentals for XRP, the same with Bitcoin, have never been stronger. You've had Brad Garlinghouse recently in Davos explaining to people what XRP can do for the next step in the industrial revolution we find ourselves in, and solving a lot of cross-border issues when it comes to international payments. So I think that message has really been brought across over the past year and a half at this point. But coupled with that at the same time is the Ripple SEC case. Again, that's also in a really weird point at the moment where people have seen all that sort of opinion from either side. And when we have those dates as well, we've seen that SEC have tried to stop the XRP holders get into the case, and all these sort of things. I think that's all noise at the end of the day. I think really we have to concentrate on the facts, and the facts are that most of the business that Ripple does is outside of the United States, and XRP has shown that it can cut costs and really save a lot of financial institutions out there. So the fundamentals for XRP is amazing. The technicals for XRP, I think, is correlated with Bitcoin and also with crypto. And crypto is right now correlated with the stock market pretty much. So if the stock market doesn't do well, then Bitcoin doesn't do well. And that also affects how XRP. So I think in the immediate short term, we could be seeing XRP's price go. I would say it's sort of the bearish target for XRP would be sort of below 30 cents in the immediate short term for this year. But I think also coupled with that is a major situation where XRP's price has been suppressed for coming up to 4 years now, maybe even sort of 3.5, 4 years, where XRP is the only cryptocurrency in the top 10, top 50, top 100, or bar one or two, that hasn't reached a new all-time high in this cycle. Bitcoin has reached a new all-time high last year with $70,000, Ethereum with 4,300, 4,400 with Ethereum. And then most of the altcoins that are out there, XRP is the only one that's still after everything it's gone through, still in the top 10, which I think is quite amazing. And it's quite an achievement for XRP, but I do think going forward it's looking good. But in the immediate short term, not looking good. Fundamentals, they look amazing in my opinion.
Awesome. And what do you think about ICOs or launches that may be not so correlated to the rest of the market? From my point of view, they may benefit a lot if we see a small little pump in Bitcoin. What do you think? Are you looking for opportunities there?
Yeah. I mean, ICOs is sort of I think it's a term that it does also split opinion as well, because you had what's happened in 2017. And that also split opinion from there. I think there's great use cases for ICOs to raise capital for a project that is supposed to do well, that has all the boxes ticked, if you so say. So, it has a great team, great white paper, great roadmap, amazing community behind it as well, or potential for it to be so. So you have to look at the fundamentals of a project to have an ICO. You have also these meme coins. If you have a meme coin doing, or a joke coin doing, sort of an ICO, that's when I get very suspicious. Or let's say that it's not very transparent, where you don't see the team and you can't really look them up on LinkedIn or something like that. You need to have a project that has a good grounding, maybe some great VC capital coming in, I don't know, but also has the potential to raise funds within the community. And I think that's also where an ICO would work really well. But I think, there's also, it's the opinion of it has been tainted because of 2017, 2018. So I think there's a space for them. And we look out for them as well. We have to look out for the good team, good white paper, of course. But we're not sort of going to completely shut the door on ICOs, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I was hearing a podcast, the Thinking Crypto podcast, and they mentioned Uniswap, they mentioned FTX, they mentioned Tezos that launched in the bear market, during the bear market. So it is also important to think about these opportunities or these cherry pick projects, because we may find value and we may be leaders in those projects. For example, in Spain, we try to guide them or help them in the Spanish language, because we know that it may be really, really useful. And as content creator, as advisor and investor, I try to be more activist right now, organizing events, organizing some calls, doing some reviews, but knowing that the risk is higher because the buy pressure may be diluting or maybe shared between some projects, some good projects, but the liquidity is no longer there. Do you see any opportunity in the market that maybe a little bit strange or a little bit less known than the rest of the opportunities?
I'm really looking into sort of payment systems. I think crypto is a great opportunity to solve some of the big issues that current payment systems have at the moment. So that's why I'm a big fan of XRP. Another thing I'm looking into is also UTrust, others as well. Recently you've had a Spanish brand, Balenciaga, if I'm not correct. They said that they're going to be accepting Bitcoin and also Ethereum for their products. So what's going to be the payment system for that as well? And I'm sure it will be a cryptocurrency project out there, like UTrust, let's say. I mean, UTrust headquarters is in Portugal, so it's just a doorstep away. So they could do something, maybe, I don't know. But it's payment systems is a big one. And then the likes of Ethereum competitors, if you like to say it like that, sort of Cardano, the Polkadot types, or maybe Tezos as well. Polkadot may be a little bit different to Cardano, but strong projects like that as well. And then real world use cases. Those are the projects I'm looking for. So if a project is trying to solve a real world use case, so let's say, for example, like Chainlink, or maybe a Chainlink competitor that takes the data out there in the world and puts it onto the blockchain, that's a real world use case. And if you can monetize that, that's even better. So that's what I'm looking for, really, when it comes to projects.
Just to remind everyone that this is not financial advice. I am financial advisor. Yes. Tom is not financial advisor, but nothing that we say is financial advice. You have to do your own research. And let's finish with Terra Luna 2.0, because I am from Spain, and Terra and Luna are Spanish words. So what do you think about Terra Luna 2.0? What is your opinion?
Well, I mean, first of all, I love the way that you say Terra. You can roll the R. I can't roll my R's like that. So Terra, I mean, I sort of anglify sort of it. Exactly. I can't say that at all. Terra Luna 2.0. That I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I looked on CoinMarketCap earlier. The market data currently is on track, so we'll see what happens with that if it does really well. I do think it has a lot to answer for, especially what's happened, recently with the Terra Luna or Terra Classic now, and then also UST. I think some exchanges out there to answer some questions. I think it's mainly the Terra Labs Foundation, sort of I guess you could say company or group. They have to answer some questions, which I'm sure they will have the opportunity to do so. We just have to wait and see what happens with Terra 2.0. If I am going to put anything in there, I'll put probably a very little amount, like sort of like $10, $50 about. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I think something with that's had such an impact on the market, such as Terra and UST depegging, and they're saying immediately afterwards we're going to go for this new project. Don't worry, guys. In the space of a month, within this month, actually, within May, they said, well, okay, this project's failed. Let's make a new one. Let's create this new one, and we're going to push it out and see what happens. I think that's absolutely crazy. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But yeah, it's a really weird time, and I do think what's happened recently with Terra is going to bring on a lot of regulation going forward. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that regulation, whether it kills the innovation or provides the adoption. And I hope we find a sort of a sweet soft point in the middle of the two, having a good amount of regulation, really. So yeah, there you go.
In Spain, we had a huge failure, which was named Terra also.
Really?
I am thinking about it, and it was nearly the same as with Terra Luna. It went to nearly zero after pumping like never before, and it went close to zero. It was one of the few startups that we had in the .com bubble in Spain, and it went to zero. It was acquired by Telefónica.
Okay. That's interesting how these things sort of go in full circle, and the funny stories you can get from that. Honestly, you can't make it up at all. It's the wild world of crypto, that is for sure. But I think a final note I want to touch on here is crypto's known as sort of the wild west of crypto. Sort of the wild west, right? Crypto is known as the wild west of finance. I think we are seeing the sunset on the wild west of finance, of this sort of wild, crazy time. And I do think what we're going to get from that is a bit of calm, which may be in the form of a bear market, a bit of a crypto winter. But I think during that really is the amazing time to double down on your efforts. If you are in crypto, if you haven't had the opportunity, look into it. Not financial advice, of course, but look into what what crypto can do for you. And then also, I'm sure there's going to be institutions out there, governments, regulators, who are looking to actually regulate this for then the next bull run to be, I think, even better and make this bull run we've had, sort of nothing compared to what is going to happen in the future, in my opinion. But there you go. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, and I hope
thank you very much, Adrian.
Have this kind of conversations during the summer, at least
yes, exactly, yeah.
The summer there in London, here in Spain. We have people that go into the winter because they are in southern countries like Chile or Argentina, and they tell me, we are approaching the winter, so it's aligning with what happens in crypto.
Exactly.
So thank you so much. We had another interview in Crypto Business channel. We talked about XRP, we talked about the crypto market in general. Thank you so much for the interview. Thanks for your time, and see you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.